Hey everybody, Eddie Prime 666 is back again with another review. This time I'm going to be talking about the NECA Godzilla 1964 figure. Um, I think it was 2014, around the time that the 2014 Godzilla movie came out, that NECA crept onto the market with their own line of Godzilla figures. Um, I thought they were great for the money that you're paying for them. They weren't as expensive as the SH Figure Arts, SH Monster Arts Godzillas. Also, overall, I think they were bigger than a lot of the Godzilla lines. I mean, I'm just guessing from the looks of it. Some of the photos I've seen, especially of their 64, it looked like it was a smaller figure. I also didn't really care for the proportions on that. It's probably one of the reasons why I never went into the SH Figure Arts line, other than QC issues I've always heard about. Um, yeah, I mean, NECA does have some QC issues with some of their releases. There've been uh, paint apps have been off, and some of them I've had that the joints were loose and they popped off. But to me, I justified it was the fact that I don't know somebody. I got into a discussion. I'll say, which almost turned into an argument with somebody about the differences between NECA and SH Figure Arts. He was talking about you're comparing a Cadillac, the SH Monster Arts, to whatever the NECAs and whatever he considered the higher toys. But I looked at it, and my thing is yeah, you may be paying for a Cadillac, but you have any issues that you'll get in a fucking $500 backyard car sale. Now, if you had issues with the car that you spent $500 on, you kind of expect that. But if you're paying the amount of money for a Cadillac, and then you get the issues of a $500 backyard purchase, there's a problem. Now, not saying that NECA was, in my eyes, were never shitty. It's not a shitty toy line. I don't think. I don't think they're any of the releases had as many quality control issues that a lot of people do tend to say that NECA does have. I have tons of NECA figures, and I could probably count on one hand how many broke. You know, but the ones that did break, I can't really say it was NECA quality control issues. That I'll admit, some of the figures that broke that I had of NECA were actually my fault. I mean, I had a Jason that his hip joint broke because I dropped it on the floor. I had a Predator. I had a couple of Predators. Their weapons broke because again they kind of toppled over. Um, so far, knock on wood, that's been it. Um, but yeah, people say they prefer the SH Figure Arts line over, or SH Monster Arts, whatever you want to call it, over the standard, the Playmates, the higher toys, the Bandai vinyls, and the NECAs. But fuck it, I don't care. Yeah, I did think price wise did make a difference when I was buying these. I mean, what, 30 $35 tops for which I consider fairly decent Godzilla figure. I was going to complain about it. Um, anyways, rant over. Um, let's just take a look at this figure. Um, this is their, like I said, the 1964 Godzilla design from Mothra versus Godzilla. Um, it's basically the same suit they used in Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, or Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, whatever you want to fucking call it. Um, Same suit. I think they changed the head on it because there was damage when they shot the Mothra versus Godzilla movie. The suit actually caught fire, and I think that's where. So I know some of the damage. I think was a fire, but I think there was an issue happened that Haruo Nakajima was in the costume and he slammed into a model, the castle, I think it was, and damaged the jaw on the suit. That's why most of the time in the movie his mouth is gaping open when he's walking around. At least I think, or it was another incident that he tripped or he slammed the suit into a model, and I think just broke the jaw. And probably the fire too is why they tweaked the suit going into the next movie. Anyways, again, I'm just ranting. In general, some of the Godzilla knowledge I've picked up over the years. Um, I think this figure is great. This was later on in their line. I know a lot of their early releases, after a certain point, um, the tails are segmented with ball joints, but up to a point, and from one point on, I think this is where the ball joint is here, where the tail was in two separate pieces. And I know in their early releases, from this ball joint onto the tip, it would be the bendy wire and a rubber tail. They dumped that and they went with continuing on with the ball joint for the tail articulation, which I think works so much better. You don't have to worry about the bendy wire breaking or ripping through the rubber. I don't think any of mine have broke with the bendy wires. I mean, I know in my Neca 54, the wire inside was starting to split through the rubber a bit, so I really don't move the tail around that much in fear of having it cause more damage. I'm glad they updated to the segmented tail all the way to the end. Yeah, it's got less segmented, and less ball joints, was what I'm trying to say, again, tripping over my words, than the SH Figure Arts. But, again, I don't care. It does what it needs to fucking do. So I'm happy with it. Even if it was just a tail that wasn't posable, like some of the Bandai vinyls that I do have in my collection, I pose pictures and I use them. They're on the same shelf next to the NECA figures. Again, I don't care. Yeah, I'm happy that they switched to this. But like I said, I would take a tail that barely even moves. Like if it just had a swivel at the base, I'm happy. Which might just say something about me. I'm easily impressed, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, the painting was actually getting better too as the line was going on. It's more a freehand airbrushing, I guess it looks like, on the dorsal plates. I know, like the 54, it looked like there was a stencil used for from the gradation from the darker colors to the lighter on the tips. This is more natural, so which makes me think that when it was spray painted or airbrushed or whatever you want to say, airbrushed, it was done more naturally. There was no stenciling. The brows over his eyes was painted just a gray. I took khaki acrylic paint and I added them to the brow, which I think matches the suit details better, I think. But I mean, other than that, I haven't really done anything to tweak this figure at all. This is exactly how it came out of the package. The sculpting, I think, is great. You get the wrinkles from the suit. You get the texture. Godzilla's and I know somebody's going to comment, probably thinking I'm saying Godzilla with an R, which I'm not. I think it's just my accent and just the way that I talk. I'm mush mouth half the time. I'm trying to get over that. I'm trying to improve that. But yeah, the tree bark like texture on Godzilla's skin is captured very well, I think. Honestly, I think it's a little bit better than SH Figure Arts with some of the sculpt work I've seen on the Godzilla figures that they've been putting out. I don't know, something just about the way they... And I don't want to sound like I'm knocking on SH Monster Arts all the time. I'm really not. But honestly, I don't know. Is it the artist in me coming out saying that I don't like some of the design choices that they use on their figures, paint-wise and sculpt-wise? I don't know. But there's just something about sometimes when I look at their figures, it's like something just turns me off from them. I don't know. That's kind of why I was leaning towards the NECA figures over the years. Also, again, price-wise, yeah, I have bought stuff in my collection that's way more expensive than SH Monster Arts, but I don't know. Maybe it's because they're on a smaller end, so maybe I justify it that way. pay $35 for a figure that I'm okay with the sculpt. I'm okay with the detail that's on it. I'm okay with the paint job on it. I think I get your money's worth for $35. I think the price on the SH Monster Arts, I can't really come to terms with buying them. I mean, yeah, I do have a few of my few. Now I do mean a few in my collection. NECA, though, I have obviously a lot more. As time will go on, with this channel, I'm just going to show that my love for the NECA Godzilla product as much as I fucking can. It's a shame that they don't have the licensing anymore to do Godzilla, because I would have loved to have seen, because they were making improvements as time was going on. The sculpts are getting better. The decisions being made to switch from the bendy wire tails to the fully segmented tails. See, there I go again, tripping over my own words. Improvements on the paint jobs, improvements on the sculpts overall. I'm just so disappointed that they stopped. Though I think Haya Toys is picking up the torch that NECA started with, and they're running with it. I'm going to talk about, I only have one, and I was just talking to my friend about this the other night. I only have one Haya Toy Godzilla in my collection, and I have one Kong, and I know they've released so much more. And I'm like, why the fuck am I stalling? I should just, pick them up and support them, support the Haya Toys and what they're doing with Godzilla, because I think what they're doing with the Godzilla product is really good. I support even Playmates, and they're the cheaper toys. Those are the ones aimed more towards kids, and I like what they're doing too. And I support them, and for some reason, I haven't really supported Haya Toys that much. Maybe because I'm thinking I'm running out of space. That could be it too. Anyways, so yeah. You have the Godzilla 64. Great fucking figure in there from their line. And the 64 came with, oops, just hit the camera, came with a breath weapon. And, this is the same one, just molded in a yellow translucent material with a dry brushing of white, or could be airbrushed maybe, of white on it. It's pretty much almost the same. I think it is the same mold that they did for the GMK breath effect. But yeah, I'll show you. I can get it in his mouth. I think it goes this way. It holds. It's good. Yeah. Also, I want to show too that I actually bought this mold 3 times, and I tweaked each one. Oh, the next 2 slightly different, so it's not the same figure over and over again. I mean, it's the same figure, but the same look over and over again, I should say. So I took and bought one. I found this at a comic book store. I forget which one I bought it at, because I would no problem giving out, information on where I buy these things, because, support your local comic book store. So now I kind of feel like an asshole because I don't remember the name. But yeah, I found another one. Decent price. Again, this was after the contract was up with Toho, that I actually found this, and it was still probably, I think, $40, $45 I may have paid for it, which is like just $10 more than what they were asking for when they're brand new. So I gave this a dry brushing of Flat Earth, I think was a color called. The color is called, again, Flat Earth acrylic paints. I might do another color on it to kind of brighten it up a little bit more. I mean, I think this is still a little bit too dark, but again, here I go, just rambling. I was going for the look of when Godzilla first comes out of the ground, when he makes his appearance in the movie. That's basically the look I was going for. I mean, SH Figure Arts has the same thing, or Monster Arts has the same thing with their 64. They have the standard colors, and then you have the first appearance, I think is what they call it. So yeah, that's what I was going for. That I just dry brushed the Flat Earth tones. Might, like I said, probably down the road get another shade, a lighter shade of brown. or tan to bring out a little bit more detail on that. Again, I'm just, it seems like I'm fading away as I'm talking. And this one is probably the craziest one I did because the suit was used and tweaked and altered between the Ultraman and the Godzilla series with Super Eye Productions. So I decided to this is my NECA Gyrus. I'll just call him Gyrus. Probably not even pronouncing it right. Yeah. So basically, it's the same figure, the NECA 64, repainted with the Gyrus colors. I spray painted in black with a black primer. Then I went over with an airbrush. I forgot what shade of blue used. I did dry brush some white. Dry brush yellow highlights his dorsal plates all the way down to his tail. There was some little bit more on his head in between the little dorsal plates on the top. Now the frill I think was just a dinosaur that I picked up at Walmart, pretty cheap. Just cut the frill off of it. I had to cement this. Unfortunately, he lost the ball joint, use of the ball joint at the base of the neck. The head does move around still, and I added a little bit more. I build up the face a bit, which isn't 100% accurate to the way the face looks on the actual Gyrus suit, because I think it was, I forget which Godzilla suit the head was, because I think it was the body of the 64 with the head of, I think it was the Monster Zero Godzilla, I think, head went to that. I'm not sure. I don't quite remember exactly, but I just built up the face a little bit just to change, so it's not an exact match to, the 64, since it is supposed to be basically the same body, just the different head. So that's what I was going for. The spots, I don't know why I added spots, because I just thought maybe the yellow stripes were just too bland on the frill, and I added the yellow spots, which isn't accurate to the way the suit was designed anyways. But it's my Gyrus, so fuck it. He's got the spots now. So I just decided to add just a little extra color. But yeah, so quickly, the NECA 64 Godzilla, again, great fucking sculpt and everything. He's got a jaw hinge. His head's on a ball joint. You got some up and down. But I always pose him like this on my shelf, the head kind of drooping, because that's the way he looks throughout most of the movie. Ball joint at the base of the neck. Some rotation there. Twite squeaky joints. Twite squeaky. They're twite and they squeak. He's got the hinge, the shoulders, hinge of the elbow, wrist, fingers, joint. He's got a ball joint mid-torso. You got some movement there. Not really that much up and down, just the slightest. I was thinking maybe heat them up, pop them apart, maybe take a Dremel to put the, dig out a little trench in there just to get more of a ball joint movement. But I don't know. Legs don't really go out that much. I'm afraid of just popping them right off, because that would be my luck. You got some more movement up and down. Catch it on the camera? No, of course I didn't. Kicks out that far. He's got a bend at the knee. Not bad. He's got the ankle. Ball joint at the ankle, I think. A little bit of movement there. And of course the tail segments. Different areas. 1, 2. One ball joint, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I think that, no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 6. The little tip at the end. So I should have done that a little bit better. Anyways, I don't care. I'm learning as I go. But here we go. The NECA 64 Godzilla in my collection. These fucking things are great. Hopefully when these are out, you guys got some yourself. If not, you are going to pay a little bit extra on aftermarket prices. I haven't looked on eBay recently. I was actually looking at eBay before I did buy this at a comic book store for another 64 with the sole purpose of making the first appearance repaint, and I think it's more than $45 on there. Anyways, yeah, that's all I gotta say, and get the fuck out of here. Video's over.